Hi, it's Josh from BrightTALK. I'm here at Infosecurity Europe with Daniele Catteddu, CTO of CSA. Daniel, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. How are you today?
I'm good. Should we start with privacy shields?
Of course.
How effective do you think it is as a policy to protect EU data from American observation?
There are a lot of details that still has to be explained. So as it is now, it's really difficult. There are too many details missing and it's difficult to say. Now, from my point of view though, I'm not even sure if such a document is going to massively improve on the privacy of the European citizen. There are other stuff that we should be worrying about. So for example, the other day I was reading this article about this company in Israel. It's called Ability, I guess. So apparently they put together a solution through which they can monitor any conversation, any text message of any phone starting from the mobile number. So in front of this type of solution, no matter what kind of agreements there are between states, it's going to be the privacy of citizens is going to be very much in danger.
Do you think people are going to feel much difference from previously they had safe harbor? Do you think it's going to be significantly different?
Well, there is one substantial difference. That is that as Europeans now, we have the feeling that we can have a counterpart in US where we can knock on the door at whenever we want to complain, right? And before we could make a complaint to our National Data Protection Authority, but without having a counterpart in US, it's difficult to enforce your right of privacy. With the Privacy Shield, they've conceived this idea of a counterpart in US, and that is going to facilitate any redress measure that we as a European citizen we might want to put in place in order to protect our privacy. So yes.
If we look at also the financial world, we've seen a few big breaches of late, the Bank of Bangladesh notably. What do you think the banks can be doing to kind of better defend themselves? It keeps happening again and again. Do you have any kind of tips you might give to a boardroom?
They need to be very good in identifying which are the most critical assets, right? That's the only way in which we can really protect us. Like shrinking and making smaller the perimeter of what is valuable and what should be attacked, and then starting to protect these crown jewels, if you like. Sure. Certainly, collaboration is going to be another very important piece of the overall puzzle, because what the hacking community has been very good at is collaboration, sharing information about 0 days. Right. So likewise, there is a need for more collaboration within financial institutions. More collaboration, more research. They should be hiring good developers, they should be hiring good ethical hackers in order for them to research on 0 days rather than waiting for someone else to exploit the 0 days that is going to be inevitable, that are going to be found. And lastly, I guess that certainly the use of cloud, so this commoditization of a number of security measures is gonna be very helpful for them.
Sure. Well, I guess cloud is obviously of key importance to you, and one of the main aspects that people are starting to discuss about is how they can protect kind of the Internet of Things and all the connected objects that are part of that kind of ecosphere in the cloud. What do you think people can be doing to make sure they're better protected in that sense?
We're talking about in the orders of billions of machines and billions of devices. Most of which they are not conceived to be secure, as you know very well, because the tendency is to produce very cheap devices. Most of which, they're missing the most basic security capabilities. So it's going to be extremely difficult from many points of view. Now, the way I see is that we need to enforce the principle of accountability from the individual perspective. So if someone is buying an IoT device that isn't secure, they should be aware of the consequences they're going to pay for it. They should be in the first place accountable of this informed decision that they are trading off money versus security.
So does that come down to educating the consumer
It
then?
comes down to education. It comes out to social responsibility. It comes out of having a better awareness of the impact that IoT can have on privacy, because we have been already discussing a lot about the impact on security. But even from the privacy point of view, there are a number of unknowns and a number of impacts that we should be really aware of.
What about, just to finish, it's nice to end on an optimistic note. What is it in the kind of the world of InfoSec that you're seeing that you're quite excited about?
Well, to be honest, I mean, everything we mentioned so far, it generates a lot of excitement. Securing the IoT is going to be one of the greatest challenges that we have ever had in the information security space. So whatever makes that it makes it very, very appealing to me, for example. Now, I'm not at all optimistic, if I need to tell you the truth. The only reason for being optimistic is that I know that I'm not going to be without a job until I retire, right? Sure. Because there will be always need for information security people around. But that's the only note of optimism I can spare with you.
Well, it's definitely a booming market. Oh, yeah. Daniele, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
We're here at Infosecurity all week. If you want to see more CSA content, head to BrightTALK.com.